My name is Jack, and go over to the cast of the two films until today, and
Movie magic.
Movie Magic was it? Sorry, I had it in my head. Right, so what is your name and what film did you work on?
My name's Megan, and I'm the director of Until Today.
My name's Michael. I'm the co-writer and co-director and one of the actors in Movie Magic.
I'm Alex. I'm the other co-writer and co-director of Movie Magic. It's a small cameo.
I'm Elida, and I am one of the actors in Movie Magic.
Okay, so both films prominently feature period pieces. How did you guys get modern traits out of it? How hard was that to film?
We did almost give up when we couldn't find a location, but luckily Stansted House, where we shot, we got on quite well with them, and we were able to shoot it there, and they have it set up like that really, so we didn't have to do a lot to it. There was some trying to frame out fire alarms and stuff like that, which was very annoying, but other than that, it's a difficult genre to try and do, but also a lot of fun.
A lot of our Regency scenes are filmed outside. A discerning viewer will note that our sort of romantic lead aristocrat never goes inside. Yeah, so that's one way of doing it. And yeah, that was basically just because very few sort of suitable locations would let us in.
Also, we went to a costume store in Hackney and we were getting a bunch of costumes, and the guys running costumes like, "What are you doing? None of these costumes are from the same century." And then he was so, I think, frustrated by our choice that he basically became a volunteer costume consultant.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, this is what they would wear.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's weaponized incompetence. I think that's what happened, which, we deploy frequently. A big problem for us was aeroplanes.
Was that a problem at Stansted House, or is that not where Stansted House is?
Not really aeroplanes, but they did have like a little railway that would run, so every so often they'd be allowed sort of choo-choo from the train, but not really in a flight path, which was lucky.
Cool.
How did you guys come up with the concepts of your ideas? What was your thought process on thinking of it?
So always love period dramas, always love Regency. I think I found it quite exciting, the idea to do a love story between two women that doesn't end with one of them dying or not being together at the end, and sort of giving them that happy ending, and also focusing on the sort of gentle side of their love and that sort of part of it. But yeah, mainly the sort of happy ending stuff. So that was my grad film. So I thought of the idea and then got someone to write it for me.
Why do we have no idea?
So Michael and I I think we would, certainly before this, we would have said we were predominantly writers, and we were looking for just the next thing. We came up with the concept as a simple
Well, I think the idea is from that writery point, is that we were looking for lots of different films that have lots of different types of vocabulary for speaking.
Yeah.
Just lots of different. We thought, well, we don't have lots of money, so one that we can convey that they're in different films is if they're in a Tarantino film, they'll talk in one way. If they're in a Pride and Prejudice or Sense and Sensibility film, they're talking a different way, and then 60s characters. I mean,
just a funny voice.
Just a funny voice. Well, I mean, I'm guilty of that, as anyone who's seen the movie can attest to. But how did you find delivering the overwritten dialogue in the?
You do yourselves a disservice, it wasn't overwritten at all, but it was very helpful to have that distinction, to have the flitting between the Regency language that's very sort of heightened and RP, and it helps with character building as well, kind of defining the performance. It did half the work for me, truly. So thanks, guys.
Well, it was helpful because we were able to, because they're in public domain, we could get Jane Austen's works as PDFs, So if there's a word that we weren't sure, oh, should we use this word or not, we could just do like a find or search function to see if it's actually used. So other than Cat, who's meant to be from the modern times, then I hope, no, I suppose I would bet Alex's voice on it, but none of the vocabulary that the other characters should use shouldn't have been in, all the words should have been in one of Jane Austen's novels.
Sure.
Right? That was our test.
Yeah,
right?
just not in that order. Weird.
What?
Do you guys have any favourite scenes or sequences from your projects?
My favourite two moments are the moment when they're sort of holding hands and dancing together, and that little bit there, and then also the ending. The score was done by an incredible composer, Phoebe Hutchison, and she sent me that, and the first time we put it to that scene I cried, and I just love it every time. The sort of feeling of going and finally making a decision to be who you want to be. That's my favourite part.
There's another great scene in your short whenever the Georgiana, is that her name, sits and has to talk to this fellow that she's supposed to be charming, and he's just so dumb. And I thought that was achieved very well. The way, and played very well as well. That was some good casting.
That wasn't actually supposed to be in the final film. It was supposed to just be sort of underneath the other conversation that's happening. And the sister is played by Gilbert Tegan, and her boyfriend is Aidan, who is that guy. And we got him very last minute, and we're like, oh, I'm not sure, but he's not in it very much. And then he was perfect. He was so unlikable in the most perfect way. And there's a moment where she sits down, and he sort of subtly moves a bit further away from her, and it wasn't supposed to be in there, but he did so good that we just have to keep it in.
That's great.
That was perfect. It was gorgeous.
Are there any good scenes normally?
Any good
So
scenes?
there's, I liked, I guess because I remember shooting it, the scene where Elida as Cat has to have the blanket dropped in her face over and over again. It was a bit,
as well.
Yeah.
it was right at the end of the day. We'd made you work so many hours that day, and then we were like, okay, now we want you to lie down on this big sheet, this big warm sheet.
She kept falling asleep.
In between takes, and I don't blame you. I was not falling asleep, power napping between takes.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, that's definitely one of my favourites. And I think shooting all of the green screen stuff for the montage was like wonderfully fun because it was so free, because like green screen. But as we've spoken about before, the gorilla for me was a proper highlight when they told me that I was going to be wearing a gorilla suit. I not only leapt for joy, genuinely, I also asked and offered my gorilla voice.
Hey, what's your gorilla voice sound like, Elida? I don't know whether I want it. And then I heard it. And
They have a demonstration.
Oh!
Hey!
I just because we managed to pull it out of nowhere, the Matrix scene is it's fun. So we were filming in a rehearsal space that we really shouldn't have been filming in, and they do warn you not to film there.
She's not in rehearsal space.
I couldn't even if I wanted to. But they we'd set up everything and we'd sort of prepped everything, got everyone into costumes, and just as we started filming, a choir started, like actual choir practice. And like, Jesus, what are we gonna do? And it was So the fact that we
It
were
also took us, like 6 or 7 takes for us to realise we didn't need to swallow the cod liver oil tablets every time.
these guys' joints so limber.
Slick after that.
Yeah.
In preparation for the I don't know what I was going to say then. Everyone ignore me.
Yeah. Well, they did all their own stunts.
Here's something fun for the movie magic team. So you did a lot of remakes in the film. What is a film that has been remade that you think shouldn't have?
Oh, shouldn't have been remade. Interesting.
I wonder about some of the live action Disney things. It's just a sort of an odd instinct. because it's like sort of the Lion King for
Yeah, the
instance.
ones the
It's like
animals that are put that
it's
live,
like, yeah.
live action animals.
it's like, well, that's really
Yeah.
impressive, but why?
Yeah.
It's sort of like someone who's really good at singing and sounding exactly like an oboe.
Huh.
And it's like, well, that's really impressive, but why? So, yeah.
What do you think an elbow is?
it's a type of lion, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What scene was the most fun to shoot on your guys' stuff?
Probably the Georgiana and Thomas conversation, purely because I wasn't expecting to like it as much as I did. But also, I think any scene that Lady Arenby was in, because she is terrifying. And she just carries every scene that she's in, and she brings such, like, I don't know, she's just horrible. And I love it, and I really think that every time I get to work with Fran, who I've worked with a couple of times, she is just incredible and so much fun to work with, and she always looks after me on set, and we always have a great time, and all of the cast was so lovely that we ended up just having quite a lot of fun the whole time.
I think for me it was, we have a bit in our film where the Bond girl and the Regency dashing chap come into the real world, and to film that, they have a bit where they're walking around Soho, and to film that we just put them in their costumes and have them walk around Soho and see what popped up. We took them into the ice cream store, Jaluppo, which I really recommend, my favourite gelato in London. And then we had a real nightmare trying to film them in the corner without getting in anyone's way. And then the edit, I realised there's no reason that we had to film it actually in the ice cream store.
Yeah, it was
Like
absolutely
that could have been anywhere, you know. But yeah,
Yeah.
but that was my favourite, taking them around Soho.
Yeah, I guess that was, we were sort of on site walking around, and just the looks. Well, actually, the lack of looks. People couldn't give a shit. They didn't
Yeah,
care.
couldn't care less.
Yeah.
Although people were very friendly whenever, because we filmed there's a jewel in the woods, and we filmed that in Chingford, in the Chingford area. And do you remember the wee girl who came up to you and asked why you were dressed so nicely? That was so sweet.
So cute. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some looks like sitting on the double decker in my costume.
Yes.
Carry
Yeah.
lots of equipment, but
Yeah, because we did carry everything, and Michael most of the time dressed as a Regency footman. I had fun making Michael and James run on the hottest day of the year in full red coats.
yeah, recreating our little graduate sequence. But I mean, he was great.
Yeah.
And so strong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just sick.
Yeah, genuinely. There was a scene, we cut it in the end. There's a scene where he had to lift me up so that I could like look through a church window.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, we haven't planned for this at all. And he just looked me down and he's like, it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, he looked up and down. He was like, "Yeah, I can lift that."
It's going to be fine.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
Just a quick one from me. I don't know if I turn the microphone on. So we heard where you guys got your costumes from, Megan. How did you source yours?
Yeah, so one of my closest friends since I was about 11 does a reenactment. So she made the 2 costumes for the main 2 cast, and then the others were hired from her Hampshire wardrobe. And we went in, and she's on the money about getting it historically accurate and all of that. So I basically took her in there and let her run wild, and she came out with all the Lady Arenby stuff. And actually, we forgot to get 2 shirts. So the Lord Arenby and Thomas are wearing the same shirt, because we suddenly realised on the day of shooting that we didn't have enough shirts. So obviously I don't think anyone would notice, but whenever I watch it I do think, oh, he's gone and swapped out his shirt for Lord Arenby, so he's able to give us,
Cat's night shirt was Mr. RC's normal shirt worn
Incredible.
backwards.
Yeah.
We also only had one wetsuit, so the Eagle Eye viewer will see that the 2 characters are never seen wearing a wetsuit at the same time.
Yeah. and the sisters swap dresses.
Oh yeah, we did for the wedding. Yeah.
Yeah. We tried to film the duel with just one sword, but was not able to demonstrate
Less
the
crafted.
camera angles. Yeah.
Any other questions out here? Silence.
Can I ask a question about the writing of the short? Because you said that you'd was that someone else from your university program?
Yeah, so the way my uni worked was that you got put into a group and everyone was on the course and they were all a different role. And I really struggled to write. I love coming up with ideas and I love adding all the little finishing touches, but I quite kind of struggled to get the sort of idea of the ground. And there was another girl at the university called Isabel, and I just said to her, like, she really wanted to do like a period piece. She wanted to do sort of an Arthurian, like the King sort of film, which ended up not being made, unfortunately. But I sort of roped her into doing this, and she writes so beautifully. And immediately I was like, oh, this is a million times better than anything I could do. So we spent a lot of time in study rooms with post-it notes of the story and sort of moving them around and me saying things and then her translating them into good writing. And also the our editor and colorist, he was involved in a lot of that as well because he could know how we were actually going to put it together and all of that. So he was quite involved too. So yeah, big group effort.
For the Movie Magic team, are there any remakes that you didn't do that you planned?
Oh, so
Yeah.
many.
Yeah, a lot. We wanted to do a western, and there was a venue that we had that we thought if we could get there would have been lovely. And it's sort
Our
of
wagon broke a wheel. I got stuck before we reached Oregon.
uh,
The joke of the Western was going to be that my character Justin thought he was in like a John Ford or like John Wayne's sort of classic 50s good guys versus bad guys Western, and that the more cynical screenwriter character, Kat, played by Lida, thought that they were going to be in like this sort of spaghetti revisionist Western, and then they were arguing about whether how seriously to take the bandits who were on their tail, whatever else. And I was going to go in the thing. But hey, for the sequel, it's all Westerns. Yeah.
Lord of the Rings should be in there too.
Yes, Westerns and Lord of the Rings.
sure.
Yeah.
How long did it take to write your films?
So we came up with the idea in probably June, and then we shot the next February. So however many months that is. But then on the day, I always said to the cast whatever felt right to say that they should say, rather than sort of sticking to whatever was written, letting them sort of play around with it and stuff. So a lot of changes happened on the day and in the edit as well.
As I said, this idea had an original life as a sort of a half-hour sitcom premise, which was basically roughly the Bond sequence as a pilot, and then we converted that into.
Well, I moved to Japan for
What happens?
2 years. So we had the script written as a pilot, and then I went to Japan for 2 years to be an English teacher, and then we would send versions over.
Yeah, we were sort of kicking the script back and
Script
forth
back,
throughout
so-
that.
Kind of on and off for ages.
If I remember correctly, you guys asked me to do the sitcom version
Yes.
right from the off,
Yes.
and then and then it was like maybe a few months later that you were like, so we've been thinking it's gonna be a film instead, and I think there was probably about 18 months maybe between that.
There you go.
So
ages
Yeah.
is the answer. Took
Yeah.
ages.
but it, like because of life, etc. Yeah.
Was the research process hard?
Not too bad. I think everyone who was working on the film loved period dramas so much that it kind of came naturally. I know that there was a lot of inspiration from the DP and also from the sound recordist and designer who watched a lot of period dramas and sort of looked at how they build their soundscapes or how they look and all of that sort of yearning and stuff and how that's shown and for me, I just kind of, I don't know, just went with the flow, I guess.
Ross, finding what all the buttons on the camera did were tricky. Like, have you seen the length of those manuals that come with cameras?
Yeah. Most of our problems were technical, I think. I mean, in terms of the script, the films we picked were pretty familiar with, I think, for the most part.
Yeah.
We threw Amelie in because that's Amanda's favourite film.
And also because I saw when I came back to film it, but I went to the Prince Charles Cinema in London, and they were showing Amelie, and I watched that for the first time. I was like, I'm only going to make French language films from now on, which came as a shock to the cast.
Yeah.
But,
For Movie Magic, there was an animated sequence. How long did that take to animate?
I guess so. There was because we were doing the post-production in Japan. That bit wasn't actually in the script, but I thought there's got to be something Japanese in the movie. And there was like a really rainy long weekend in Japan. If Hayao Miyazaki saw that, I think he would kill me because firstly we're animating on like tens. So the animating term of like how many frames you're animating, like a real Studio Ghibli film will be animating it on 2s or 1s, whereas it's but it took, I don't know, maybe to get an animatic going, it took a couple of days, and then the rest maybe took about 2 weeks to put together. But no AI was used in the generation because someone asked us after another screening, "Oh, so what AI did you use to make that?" And I said, which is the name of an AI. That was me saying that we didn't use anything.
So for my last question, I'm just going to make it fun. So what would be a film that you would like to remake and keep one actor and the rest of the actors the Muppets?
Maybe A Few Good Men.
Who'd
Wait.
you keep?
Well, I suppose, I mean, so either you keep Tom Cruise or Jack Nicholson.
Jack Nicholson.
You keep Jack Nicholson and everyone else is a Muppet? Yeah, for
I
sure.
think so. Yeah.
Good man, so.
When Harry Met Sally.
Oh, wow, that's close.
Harry or Sally.
Yeah.
I think Harry gets to stay, and maybe Sally's Miss Piggy.
On the Jack Nicholson vibe, maybe The Shining, and keep him.
Yes.
Or I was thinking about this earlier because I was in here when you asked it previously, and my first thought was Gladiator, and keep Russell Crowe, and everyone else as a Muppet,
Yes.
and I think that would be incredible.
Yeah, and I just saw Master and Commander again the day, and that with Muppets and keeping Russell Crowe, I think would also be.
I think any film, keep Russell Crowe,
Yes.
or add Russell Crowe. If Russell Crowe isn't in it, put him in it. Everyone else Muppets.
Muppet Pride and Prejudice, I could see. And
Yeah, that's
and keep Mr. Darcy
As Russell Crowe.
as Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe's kind of a Muppet name. I think about it. You could see
Yeah.
that being a name of a Muppet.
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys. Thank you.